Hello guys, welcome back to Rimrock channel. So today we're going to talk about will inflation continue, and will the rise of commodity price keep pushing the inflation higher. So a lot of investors have lost a great sum of money by investing in technology stocks. They've been losing a lot of money longing stock basically. So right now we're seeing a very strong commodity price, and we're seeing a rather weak equity price. And at the same time, all these commodity prices keep going higher and higher. Since the whole world right now is expecting, first of all, Fed to raise interest rate by perhaps like 25 basis point, when like the most economists would project the Fed would probably raise 25 basis point. But however, there are still considerable amount of people think that Fed is probably going to raise 50 basis points. But however, it's all depend. It really kind of depends on the continued situation of Ukraine and Russia. Right now, the situation is rather easing because the China and U.S. have been meeting each other in Rome, and we still not we're still not knowing what's happening whatsoever inside that Rome meeting. But however, if my personal perspective is that if anything good news come out, the entire media would just storm it. The entire media would just keep telling us how like we have a peace situation, and the stock market's going to bounce back very dramatically. But currently, we are not receiving any good news so far. The only thing is that we can now see the market. We see the oil prices has plummeting a lot since the previous high was trading at 100, nearly 180, and nearly the all-time high was like $124, all the way plummeted to 96 dollar currently. So it's rather difficult to trade oil right now because given the fact that there is a huge volatility. One day it goes up like skyrocketed, the other day it goes down dramatically. But however, I still reckon that we're still going to see the oil price continue to rise. And however, because given the fact that right now we're having these 7.9% of inflation, if we look at the data here, we are going to see this inflation right here. If we're going to check about these 7.9 inflation, it's rather astonishing. As we can see on historical basis, there are not many times that U.S. inflation ratio has climbed all the way to nearly like 10%. 10% could be considered as a very devastating inflation ratio. If we look at what happened in 1970s, we were seeing a huge inflation, waves of inflation. So the ex-federal chairman, Paul Volcker, has to do a very stringent policy and to further have a series of rate hikes to be able to really kind of ease the entire interest rate and to lower that inflation, to ease the financial tightening situation, and at the same time raise the interest rate aggressively. But consequently, that will result in the huge drop of stock markets, and we were basically seeing the very similar situation as what happened in 1970s. And right now, as I have been mentioning countless times in our previous videos, that we're talking about, we are having these changing world order. By the meaning of changing world order actually means the dollar system is about to gradually step down from its prominent control status, and that is going to happen gradually. It's not going to happen overnight, right? So a lot of people still think that dollar could last forever, but the fact that dollar cannot last forever. The dollar system is fragile, and the dollar system is not perfect at all. But the dollar system is what we depend on after the World War II. After the World War II, the entire financial system was built on dollar. As a matter of fact, dollar was able to take in the British sterling's dominant position. The reason why the dollar has this position is because U.S. has basically won the World War I and World War II. So that's the reason why America is be able to use this dollar system and also be able to use the dollar to pact with the to the petrodollar and also all these energy to be able to price them, to be able to transact all these energy into dollar terms, and you'll be able to trade energy and trade different contracts with dollar system. That is what we depend on for decades, a very, very long time. So a lot of people, it is understandable that a lot of people would still think that dollar system is going to last forever, because the dollar system is simply been using for too long, and which is the reason why the U.S. is now quite nervous, because the White House and also the elites, the ruling elites of Wall Street, basically see this kind of trend going, because right now China and Russia, these two powerful countries, they are grouping together and to stand in the same front against U.S. So if we are actually looking at Russia, Russia is one of the biggest energy producer, one of the biggest and largest food producer, and also mineral producer. It controls a lot of export, right? For example, if we talk about uranium, we will talk about nickels. Russia basically produces a lot of them. And if we're talking about wheat, whether we're talking about these fertile, Russia has a dominant position in exporting all of these basic materials. So if Russia is standing with China, that means one of the largest producer and one of the largest energy exporters. They are grouping together to fight against the U.S. economy system. If we're talking about China, most of the factories and industry are currently positioned in China, and China has the best capacity and to be able to manufacture and be able to build different things in different industry. And so that power, you cannot ignore that kind of ability. Even though a lot of companies, a lot of foreign enterprise are right now stepped out of China. Maybe they start investing overseas, trying to lower their cost, labor cost. But it's very difficult for this producing facility to be gone overnight. So that's the reason why if China and Russia started to play against U.S. together, it will be very, very tough situation for White House, and it will create more inflation. It will definitely create more. It will trigger the price of commodity. Keep going up, and inflation is inevitable. But right now, given the fact that that the entire world is waiting for Russia to have a truce with Ukraine, but it's from my perspective, from my view, it's very rather difficult to see that, because they are you can't actually see Vladimir Putin submitting his will and by giving out Crimea, and to really give up everything that he has planned for a long time. We are talking about Ukraine invasion, and we are talking about taking back Crimea. So this whole procedure is part of the changing world order, because the fact that Russia and China right now they were seeing America, the U.S. is not as strong as before. Even though America, U.S. still the strongest economy, still has the strongest army. We're talking about military power. We're talking about economy power. Of course, no doubt, America is still very powerful. But right now, at the moment, U.S. is going down because of the corrupted government. We're talking about the deep state. We're talking about very weak Joe Biden. He's very failure of all these movements in Middle East and all of that because of the weak presidents and the weak presidency authority. Right now, China and Russia sees the perfect opportunity, sees the one in a lifetime opportunity to to fight against U.S. So this is so far the biggest risk that most investors should be able to see, because most investors right now, they are hoping for peace, and they think all of these are eventually going to pass. But what if all these war and all these geopolitical conflict, the tension keep rising? What would the not ordinary investors be doing? They can basically do nothing, right? So given the fact that this is all right now, a lot of investors are still, I would say, over optimistic about the fact that Russia is going to step down from invading Ukraine, and believing that U.S. is able to calm everyone down, and U.S. is going to remain as powerful as usual as it used to be. I would say that was just some kind of naive thought. So from my perspective, to be concluded, I think that inflation is going to rise, and the oil price plummeting will be temporarily, and we're going to see more of the risk events. And by the time the risk events burst, we're going to see oil prices reaches new high. We're going to see commodity prices reaches new high, and then we're going to see Federal Reserve going to have a more of aggressive raising rates kind of movements. By the time that the risk assets, the global risk assets, the price would drop severely. We're just having a start. So thank you guys for watching for this episode. So I will see you in the next episode. If you like my content, please subscribe, and you can join our group, and you can also you click that little bell for me, so you will get, like, every time you get a new idea, you'll get a new perspective from me. And thank you guys for watching and all the support. Please share. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.